Hey guys, we Mole today. So in today's video, we'll be talking about the Crusaders versus Chiefs within round 3 of Super Rugby Aotearoa. So yeah, this will be a very exciting week, obviously, with the Crusaders versus Chiefs, and it's being played within Christchurch, so Crusaders will have home advantage. And yeah, no, the Crusaders, obviously, from last week, they did, you could say, wipe the floor against the Hurricanes, which is kind of expected, in my opinion, with the Hurricanes being less, having a lot of members out, you could say, at the moment. And yeah, no, it was one of those games which the Crusaders did, I'd say slowly progressed, you could say, within the game. But as soon as they got their first try, they were a steam tray really, and they're really dominant throughout that game. So yeah, no, this game they should really just try to continue that form really, and I can't really see why they wouldn't. I mean, the Crusaders at the moment are the most dominant team, you could say, within Super Rugby, and particularly within Super Rugby Aotearoa. I mean, they've just been winning games after games after games, and I don't see this game being really any different. But yeah, no. With the other hand, though, with the Chiefs, though, they did lose their both games so far against the, what was their first game? They lost against the Highlanders, I believe, within last week's one, which was kind of an unfortunate one because the Chiefs did actually play pretty well within the first half. They were up by 15 points, but then as soon as the second half came, the Highlanders just came back, and really Jordan Nareki was the man on form. So that's kind of the reason why the Chiefs kind of fell down for that second half. But more or less, I mean, hopefully they can try to get their first win for Super Rugby Aotearoa. I mean, they're still not to have a win, which is kind of unfortunate because they are a very good side. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. But anyway, yeah, here's the lineups obviously for both sides. With the Crusaders and Chiefs. There is a few changes you could say to both sides. With the Crusaders obviously changing Joe Moody, which is probably a big one for George Bauer, but it's not really too big of a change because George Bauer obviously comes off the bench most of the time, and he does have a pretty good impact, I would say. So he's just getting a starting spot at the moment. So that's good to see. And he will be partnering up with Michael Aotearoa, which is kind of the normal pair you could say for the props. But they will be facing against Ruben O'Neill and Angus Taubau, who obviously is coming in for Mafaleo from last week. So I think I would probably edge towards Crusaders within that section, within that props. I think they're just more experienced in that area. But when you do look at the hookers, though, the hookers is a very interesting one because you do have the likes of Cody Taylor, who's probably been the most informed player, in my opinion, throughout Super Rugby so far. He's scored 2 tries within both games Crusaders have played so far, so he's done pretty well. And he will be facing the likes of Takaleho, who is a young and you could say upcoming hooker, you could say, and has the potential, in my opinion, to actually be an All Black hooker. We'll wait and see on that. But he hasn't really got off the ground running, I'd say, from last year's Aotearoa competition. But more or less, he does have the ability to actually get a lot of tries. So hopefully that'll be a good contest there. I'll probably edge it towards the Cody Taylor purely on the basis of experience. But moving on to the locks, obviously for the Crusaders, you do have the likes of the normal combination with Scott Barrett and Sam Whitelock, and that's pretty good. I mean, obviously Scott Barrett will be captaining the side once again, so they will have a lot of experience within that area. But they will be going against the likes of you could say Tupo Vala, who obviously is now a new All Black lock in that sense, which is kind of good to see. And he'll bring a lot of, you could say, experience in that sense. But he will be partnering up with a new debutant with Josh Lord. So we'll see how he goes. Obviously, he is replacing Al Kui, and obviously Al Kui is on the bench, so we'll see if that works or not. But it's a tough one against the Crusaders and against Barrett and Whitelock. I mean, I'm going to edge it towards Crusaders immediately. But with the loose forwards, obviously, you do have the likes of Sino Havili, who's actually taking up the 6th spot in place of Ethan Blackletter, who had a slight injury problem within last week's game. So that's kind of expected. But they have the same, with Tom Christie as well as Cullen Grace, who's filling out 8 again, which is kind of the same. It seems like that's his new role really within the Crusaders. And he's done pretty well there. So I think that he can just keep that up. But he will be facing the likes of obviously Mitch Brown, who's actually come back into the side, which is good to see. He always brings a lot of experience, and he's pretty good when he has his ball in the hand. But obviously he'll be the likes of Sam Kane, who's one of the co-captains for the Chiefs, and along with Luke Jacobson. And Luke Jacobson, to be honest, he wasn't actually, I wouldn't say he was on top form within that last game against the Highlanders, but he is a player who, he's similar, like, what was the best one? He's similar in the sense of Tutu in a sense where if he has the ball and he runs with it, he's going to get you a lot of ball carry meters. So that's kind of what, he's like a Harry Wilson really for within Super Rugby. So I'm really interested to see how he goes. But overall, I think I'm probably edging towards, you could say this is probably more of a draw in that sense. I think Tom Christie and Cullen Grace have done very well, but you do have the likes of Sam Kane and Luke Jacobson, so Actually, I'll edge towards the Chiefs within the loose forwards, in my opinion. Yeah. So moving on to the backs. Obviously with the backs, you do have a 9-10 combination with Mitchell Drummond and Richard Mwanga, which worked out to you could say within last week's game. With Drummond setting up Richard Mwanga with that one try, which was a pretty good try. And you do have the likes of Brad Weber, who's obviously the other co-captain filling at the 9 position, and Brent Gatlin. So I think I'm going to edge it towards the Crusaders, purely on the basis where I think just Mitchell Drummond and Richard Mwanga have a lot more chemistry together. But not to say that Brad Weber and Gatlin could actually do bits within this game. So yeah, definitely a key battle you could say within this game for sure. So yeah, moving on to the centers. The centers is a very interesting you could say place for this game, because obviously there has been changes in the sense where both teams have actually made changes, with Crusaders going with the likes of David Havili at 12 and Jack Goodoo at 13, and then they'll be facing the likes of Quinta Paya at 12, and then Sean Wainui at 13. So there is a lot of changes in that sense, where the Crusaders have actually switched David Havili from 15 to 12, which is very interesting, and obviously there's a reason for that. But yeah, David Havili, he has the size for it, so I can understand why he would go there, and I think he has played there within the past, so I don't think that should be a problem. And obviously he will be placing Dallas McLeod. He has done pretty well so far, so that's kind of a good switch there. Yeah, with the Chiefs, they obviously have Quinta Paya, who is replacing Antelana Brown, who is on the bench. So yeah, it's a pretty good combination there, and I think Quinta Paya just reminds me of a younger Lea Mabe, so hopefully he can, he's built, so hopefully he can do some damage in this game. Within that, I'd probably edge it towards the Crusaders, in my opinion. If Antelana Brown was in, I would have maybe said it was a draw, but more or less I'm going to give it to the Crusaders for the centers position. So moving on to the wingers. The wingers is a very interesting one, with the Crusaders obviously going with Leicester and then Sevu Reece at the 14 spot. But more or less, yeah, they're facing the likes of, Nana Aotearoa at the 11 spot for the Chiefs, and then for 14 they're going with Sean Stevenson, who actually comes in. So there's a bit of experience there, and Nana Aotearoa was very good at, in my opinion, I said last week, he was, a hot stepper in the sense where whenever he had the ball, he just, he made like 6 steps in a row, which is kind of good to see. But that's kind of what he's known for. But yeah, more or less, I think I'll probably edge towards the Crusaders from that section again. Sevu Reece is just a lethal try scorer, and then you have also the likes of Leicester, who's actually he's improved over time. And yeah, no, I think he'll do bits as well. So yeah, I'll probably edge towards the Crusaders within that section. But yeah, with the last position, obviously with 15 spot, Will Jordan actually comes back into the side, which is kind of a surprise to say, because obviously he wasn't meant to play within the first game against the Highlanders, but unfortunately he had an injury within the last 30 seconds, you could say, of his warm-up, so he wasn't able to play then, and obviously he didn't play within his second game. But yeah, he is back within the Crusaders, and that will be a massive difference, because he is probably the key player in this game, really, for the Crusaders. If he has the ball in hand, he will definitely get you a few tries, and yeah, that's for sure. But he will be facing the likes of Damien McKenzie at 15 for the Chiefs, so that'll be that's probably, in my opinion, the key battle within the game. I think I'd probably say it's a draw at the moment, but if you're going to form, I'd probably edge it towards, from last year, I'd say Will Jordan immediately, but at the moment, I'll say it's a draw for that section. So that's kind of it, really, for both teams. I mean, if I had to say prediction on who I'd say would win, I'd probably edge it towards the Crusaders. I think they're in very good form at the moment. They've won both their games, obviously against the Highlanders away and the Hurricanes at home. So I think they'll just continue that. And I think they'll win this game by at least over 10 points, in my opinion. I'll be surprised if the Chiefs make this close, but yeah, I'm going to say over 10. So I'll say 35. Actually, I'll even say more, in my opinion. I'll just say by 15. I'll say 35 to 20. Yeah, 35 to 20 to the to the Crusaders. Yeah, it's a large one, but I can see that kind of result happening. Yeah, anyway, just hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. Definitely want to see you guys comment below and tell me who you guys think will win the match. So anyway, yeah, see you guys next time.